Morning and welcome to WyoToday Sports Live. Looks like I am flying solo today. This is Kevin Shields with WyoToday, and we're going to take a look at Fremont County sports. We're going to avoid the fact that my Georgia Bulldogs lost in heartbreaking fashion, played awful in the second half, so we'll skip over that and go right into local sports. Of course, not a whole lot going on the rest of this week. I don't know about you guys, but I have to keep reminding myself that today is not Monday. It's Friday. So I could get used to this. We've had basically 2 weeks in a row, a day off, Thursday off, then come work today, then get 2 days off. So could get used to that, but it's just one of those things that we don't want to get too used to because we go back to normal starting next week. So, and that is when we have just boatloads of basketball. We're going to go over the schedule. We'll probably go over it twice. We'll go over once here at the beginning and once here at the end. We're going to look at standings and things of that nature for some sports, just to kind of give you all that information. But we return to the hardwood. WyoToday does and local area high schools do on Monday, actually, at 5 and 6:30 on 99.1 KWYW. What has turned out to be a real fun game, real interesting game. It'll be in Billings, I do believe, and it'll be Wyoming Indian going up there to face Lodgegrass. Tough opponent. Over the past couple years, great native on native school basketball, and Cody will be bringing you that game, and that'll be at 5 and 6:30 on Monday. Not a traditional night for us or for them. And then we continue the non-traditional, so to speak, at least this early in the season, on Tuesday night at 5:30 and 7 with Ernie over and Jerry. It'll be Lander and Cody. They'll be playing in Cody. Ernie, Jerry, if you're listening, be safe on that trip. I hate that drive back, especially Cody at Thermopolis. I tend to see more eyes on the side of the road as far as wildlife and different things cutting out in front of me on that road, that stretch of road from really Cody to Matizzi, but also all the way to Thermop. Every single week. So there's Monday and Tuesday. Then Wednesday's the one that we don't have a game. No one's playing, but then we turn around on Thursday and we kick right back up, and we start off with one heck of a matchup. If you get a chance, get on out to Ethity if you can find a seat, as they will host the defending boys state champion. Girls will face a ranked team as well. So it'll be Thermopolis and Wyoming Indian, 5:30 and 7. And we'll have it on two different networks, obviously. Kevin Gerber will have it on 101.7 KDNO. For Thermopolis, and boy, they look good. They look good. They did lose to Green River down at the Flaming Gorge, 4A team, but they hung right there with them and just seemingly couldn't get over the hump. But the other games, oh boy, did they have, they're good. Thermopolis is as good as advertised, looking to defend that boys state championship. And of course, we will have them on KDNO 101.7 with Kevin Gerber for the Thermopolis feed. And we will have Cody and Gordon, I do believe, at 5:30 and 7 on 991 KWYW on Thursday. Now, I'm just waiting for the final schedule to come out. And we'll post it on our Facebook pages. Riverton girls and boys will be headed down to what used to be the Taco John's, now like the James Johnson or something like that. It's kind of floated around with names ever since they left the Taco John, as far as like really advertising and pushing the name, because it became more of more like a Stranigan than having a sponsor. Don't know about this year yet. That's kind of always last minute thing, but we'll be going down to Cheyenne, most likely early Thursday, for that invitational, and Riverton will be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that I do know we're playing 4 games in 3 days. Now, as tradition kind of dictates, or traditionally, those double headers have either been on Thursday or they've been on Friday. So hopefully not on the go home day. We'd like to avoid that, mainly just because Cheyenne is a more decent trip for us. Flaming Gorge is a little bit easier to pull off, in 2 hours. But when you start dealing with 5 hours, don't know what the weather might be like all the way or the winds. So you would like to get back. But that's your Thursday. So you got regular season game between two powerhouses in Wyoming, Indian, Thermopolis, and the Riverton Lady Wolverines, and Wolverines will be playing in day one of the Cheyenne Invitational. On Friday, Riverton again will be in Cheyenne. It may be a doubleheader day. We'll get you those times and opponents as we get closer. Lander boys, there's kind of one of those split invitationals again. They're Rollins and Pinedale for the Lander boys and girls. That'll be with Ernie and Jerry. We don't have the official final schedule for that either on this week from today for Lander, but we will be there and we'll let you know on Monday. Hopefully we'll have it, or maybe even later today. Then after playing Wyoming Indian, Thermop does the same thing. They're going to split up Bighorn, Tongue River. It'll be with Kevin Gerber. And those times are not official yet. We don't have final schedule, but we will get those. So you got invitationals left and right. Of course, Shoshone's going to be out at Bighorn, Tongue River, and Pine Bluff and Burns for the boys. But nonetheless, the one game we do know the exact time we're going to be seeing some action is on Friday, January 9th. Will be 5:30 and 7 as Wyoming Indian will host Lame Deer on KWYW 99.1. And then on Saturday, to wrap it up, of course, Riverton boys and girls going to be in Cheyenne. Lander boys and girls going to be Rollins, Pinedale. Thermopolis boys and girls going to be on Bighorn and Tongue River, and Wyoming Indian will travel to Grable, and they will play Saturday at 12:30 and 2 next week. So we'll have a show, but I don't know if we'll be pre-recorded or if we'll just call in. We'll see how that goes. Because Cody and Baylor could come in the studio, so because they'll be at home at least Friday, Saturday they're on the road. But if you're counting at home, that is every day of next week, with the exceptions of Sunday and Wednesday, that we'll be bringing you basketball here on WyoToday. It is jam-packed. We're getting right into it. And then, of course, after that, we go right into the next week into the regular season with Riverton facing Green River on Thursday and things of that. And Riverton Rock Springs on Saturday, Lander on Friday and Saturday, Thermop on Friday and Saturday, Wyoming Indian on Saturday. As far as that goes, we're looking forward to bringing you a regular season. And as we look at the standings right now for local area teams, we're going to look at 1A Northwest first. The DuBois Lady Rams are 3-4. St. Stephen's Lady Eagles are 1-4 in 1A Northwest. In 2A Northwest, Shoshone is 3-3. Thermopolis girls is 1-3. So right now, Shoshone, just by record, sits atop 2A Northwest. Of course, conference season hasn't started, so it's kind of all just based. It's all really not that consequential as of yet. In 2A Southwest, Wyoming Indian Lady Chiefs sit at 5-3. A little bit of a slow start for what they wanted, but they'll get things on track as they get a little bit more in basketball shape. Wind River Lady Cougars sit at 0-7. In 3A West, the Lander Valley Lady Tigers have looked very good as they sit at 7-0 currently through the season as they get ready to play one more invitational and then start the regular season, although they're going to start regular season style games on Tuesday, again, going to Cody. And in 4A West Conference 1 Southwest, Riverton Lady Wolverines sit at 2-5. Star Valley currently at the top of the heap on that. Jackson hasn't gotten any better. Jackson sitting at 0-4. And the best record right now, as far as least amount of losses in all 4A, is Sheridan. On the boys' side, a little bit different. In 1A Northwest, it is St. Stephen's who sits atop right now early in the season. 4-1. The Eagles playing very well. DuBois Rams sit down at the bottom at 0-7. We did forget one girls' team. Hold on, let's back up there real quick because I forgot. that they were there in 1A Southwest. And that is Fort Washakie at 1-3 for the girls. On the boys' side, Fort Washakie at 3-1. So they're playing pretty darn well, especially to be so early in that program. In 2A Northwest on the boys' side, Shoshone sits at 5-1. And Thermopolis right behind them. And the only reason they're behind them is because they have played less games. And they sit at 3-1. So good network, good teams there. We're going to try and get out a Shoshone game. Of course, we will have the Thermopolis games when they play as part of our regular, but we're looking at the schedules there, trying to figure out when we could get out to Wind River, when we could get out to Shoshone. We'd like to get to everybody. It's just a little tough, especially when we have games like we do this week. So, anyway, in 2A Southwest, Wyoming Indian, the boys looking every bit as motivated and dominated to return to a state championship game. They sit at 8-0. Wind River sits at 1-6 in 2A Southwest. In 3A West, Lander is kind of in the middle of the pack. Powell looks so far early season to be the best team in 3A West, but Lander sits at 4-2, kind of right there in the middle. Lyman level 5-1, Pinedale 3-3, Powell 6-0 though. And then in 4A West, of course, Riverton at 4-3, kind of a weird way to get to 4-3. Lost their first 3 games in a row, turned around, and then won their next 4. So they're in the midst of a 4-game winning streak. We'll see if they can keep that. Cheyenne, we usually, I don't know if we'll play Sheridan. That's usually where we see a team like a Sheridan, a Cheyenne Central, Cheyenne East type thing. I don't know if we'll see Sheridan. We saw Sheridan, of course, at the Casper Compete Classic. So I don't know what the schedule looked like there, but usually we play a good amount of teams out of 4A East. We've played Central there. We've played East there. We've played Laramie there. Sheridan, as I mentioned, Thunder Basin, South. And the only one I don't remember us playing, at least in my tenure or my recent memory, is Campbell County. So it'll be interesting to see as far as that goes. So a lot of good basketball coming up this coming week, starting this Monday. We'll have games, and Leanne and maybe Cassie will Cassie Dispeller, because that's a lot of nights, 5 out of 6 nights to be board opping for the games. And we just want to give a special shout out, as we mentioned them, to our board ops. Those are people who keep us on the air, make it where you guys can listen, especially those on the radio, and really make things easy for us, alert us as we're trying to keep stats and keep up with the game and run a camera, blah, 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 blah. They make it so that if we have an issue, they usually catch it pretty early, a lot of times before you even know we have one. So we're able to get away from that and stuff of that nature, especially in the early season, because at these invitationals, a lot of times you'll have 5-6 people broadcasting games all around each other. Some guys have gotten there early, tried to set up 2 games beforehand, and there's just not the room. So you're fighting over power, you're fighting over broadband. It can become a real zoo. Everybody works real well together, but if it weren't for the board ops, we would just go absolutely insane. So of course, then after basketball season, we will be your home for soccer. We are the only one of, I think, 2 or 3 total broadcasters for soccer in the state that do the full-blown play-by-play and everything of that nature, and we're looking forward to that. But more so on what's coming up, you got boys swimming. Let's see here if I can find you some schedules here for this coming week. Of course, on Monday, that's December 29th, actually, on my birthday this past week, Lander faced off in the Lander Holiday Invite with Buffalo, Riverton, Rollins, and Kimmer. Of course, if you paid attention to the scoreboard or some of our previous shows, Riverton had defeated Lander in the Riverton Invite. Lander asserts their dominance at home. They lead the way with 346.5 points. It was their depth that carried them, as the Bison won 7 of 12 events for Buffalo. And they had a couple of guys actually for both Riverton and Lander. Lander's Carter Plaisted and Riverton's Alex Jordan each won 2 individual events each. So congratulations to them. So now we get back to, after the holiday, there is some swimming going on today. It does not involve any of our local teams. In fact, but tomorrow does. The Kimmer Holiday Invite will involve Lander, Evanston, Kimmer, Lander, Lyman, Rollins, Rock Springs, and Sublette County all face off down in Kimmer. And it looks like Riverton's off, as the only other event is the Laramie Holiday Invitational. So that'll be exciting. Boys get back in the pool. Of course, the Lander Valley Tigers looking to assert dominance once again. I don't know if there's any other school in any sport that has come close to that. I know where I'm from, they call Valdosta Titletown because in the 70s and whatnot, they won the mythical, USA Today pole national championship a lot in football. But their level of quote, it's kind of laughable to call it dominance compared to what Lander Valley has done for 27 plus years. So, take that as you will. Of course, coming up, we also have Wrestling Ronthon right around the corner towards the end of the month here. But there has been a bit of a holiday lull in wrestling this Friday. Let's see here. Lander Wrestling on the girls' side and the boys' side will be, and at 2 different tournaments. The girls will be at the 2026 Mountain Super 14 at Belgrade High School Special Event Center in Belgrade, Montana. Local team, or at least Wyoming teams that are joining them there, will be Cody, Powell, and Sheridan. On the boys' side, they will be at the Tom LaProuse tournament at Gallatin High School in Bozeman. And then Cody, Powell, and Sheridan will also join their boys there as well. On the 3rd, is there any wrestling at all? Well, there'll be a continuation of the MT Super 14 on the girls' side. Seeing if Riverton's involved here at all. Nope. And then on the boys' side, looks like that tournament's just one day. And that's kind of about it for wrestling. So not a whole lot going on right now as far as wrestling or anything like that, but that all changes next week and the following. Of course, everything gets back into swing of things. School's returning. For those of you who are going, hey, son, when do you go back to school? They go back on the 6th. They go back on Tuesday. And I'm still not used to the fact that Katie going to UW does not go back until like the 17th. That just blows my mind that she's still got off till then. But that's when the schools go back and people start getting back into regular routine, so to speak. We also want to highlight, just FYI, that some of what's coming up in the next couple weeks for our college folks over at Central Wyoming College. They return to action after almost a month off. The last time they played in boys basketball was on the 13th of December. They won 79-74 at the NWC Classic in Powell against Dawson Community College. They won that 79-74. In fact, they won both their games there, 79-65, 79-74. Last loss for the Rustlers men's team was at Salt Lake Community College, to Salt Lake Community College at the Winter Classic presented by Wind River Hotel and Casino, and they lost that one by 31. In that same tournament, they also lost to Utah State Eastern by 21. So the next one for Riverton, it'll be a home game. Get out there, enjoy. If you like basketball, get out there. It's a nice small environment. Get set up real close. It'll be on the 9th, Friday the 9th. So next Friday, and it'll be against Four Winds University. It is a home game. Then they face Casper College in a home game on the 14th. They go to Gillette College on the 17th, host Laramie County Community College on the 21st, go to Eastern Wyoming College on the 24th, and on the 31st, they will face Northwest College at home. So we want to look at the women's basketball schedule as well for CWC. Of course, they last played on the 17th of December, losing to Salt Lake Community College 81-47. And before that, they played in the same Holiday Classic. They defeated North Platte by 24 in that, and they defeated the Wyoming All-Stars just bad, 107-45. So next up will be the Wyoming All-Stars on the 10th. So a week from tomorrow at 2 p.m. It'll be in Riverton. Then on the 14th, Casper College, and then it's just like the boys. Gillette College on the 17th. On the 21st, Laramie County Community College. 24th, Eastern Wyoming College. 31st, Northwest College for CWC. So, of course, now we get down to start talking about Shrine Bowls in a couple weeks and a bunch of other stuff that's coming up as far as sports go. But basketball and wrestling about to hit really hardcore. Hockey, junior level and youth level actually starting to get going. I know ice has been a bit of an issue with the temperatures we're having, and today's really no different. We're going to be high in the early 50s. Or early in the low 50s. So at this time of year, though, we do want to thank our football broadcast teams, Cody and Baylor Beers. Not going to thank myself, but going to thank my cameraman and my color guy, Declan and Marshall Whitaker. We want to thank Kevin Simpson. We want to thank Ryan Williams, the guys in Thermopolis. And we want to thank Ernie Over and Mr. Garcia, our young man who called Lander games with Ernie. He's, of course, having a good season. We mentioned how good Shoshone Wranglers are doing. He's playing basketball, so we look forward to the next year. And thank the guys who are working with us currently here in the new year. Kevin Gerber in Thermopolis. We are looking for color commentating and some play-by-play in Thermopolis to spell Kevin on some vacations and things of that nature to join his broadcast and follow his state championship level boys team and a state tournament level girls team as well. So give me a call, 307-856-2244, if you're interested in joining the Thermopolis broadcast team. Again, that's 307-856-2244. But Cody and Gordon on that side, on the Wyoming Indian side, Ernie and Jerry, and then, of course, my guys, Marshall and Declan, who will be joining me more in the regular season. We also want to give a special shout-out when we've unable to call a game, especially we do have two of those coming up. We will have them on our air, but our old friend Eric Pauley is going to join us for Rock Springs and for Green River, simply because I've got the WPA press convention. As a member of a board, I have to be there. Past years, I've just gone back and forth or whatnot, but as a board member, I have to go. So that's what we have to look forward to as we get ready to wind things up. A reminder that throughout the season, your voice of the Riverton Wolverines is station 93.9 KTAK. Your voice of the Lander Valley Tigers is 93.1 KFCW. Your voice of the Wyoming Indian Chiefs and Lady Chiefs is 99.1 KWYW. And your voice for the Thermopolis Bobcats and Lady Bobcats is 101.7 KDNO. In addition to that, where you can pick up all the University of Wyoming Pokes games, so you pick up the Cowboys and the Cowgirls games, is 99.1 KWYW, unless it conflicts with a Wyoming Indian home game. We will always choose local over over statewide. So, and that's one of the reasons, if you're ever wondering, we have Denver Broncos and Colorado Rockies. We don't have the Utah Jazz or the Denver Nuggets or the Avalanche is because we just can't satisfy those contracts because we think we need to bring you and we think you want local basketball. And in that case, specifically Wyoming Indian. Well, we'll be back on next week, and I'll probably be on the phone, and Cody and Baylor will be here in studio here on WyoToday Newsroom. I want to thank you for listening here on 101.7 KDNO. And if you got the day off and whatnot, go enjoy the holidays. And if you got some Christmas Visa gift cards or you got some cash, go out, spend some of that local. I know Haskell's, Kusel's, Gamble's, all the furniture guys, everybody is having sales going on. Perfect chance to get something really unique with that gift card or with that cash you got for Christmas. So one last time, I guess, for this year or for this calendar year academically, as we follow the school calendar here on WyoToday Sports. I hope you had a great holiday, and we will see you next week as we get back into the full swing of the regular season hoop schedule here on WyoToday.